were younger, we believed our father's arms could stretch wider than the North Saskatchewan. Where in the time before we knew the sun was dangerous, we lay on its silty banks and let ourselves wander over the treetops to the farthest reaches of the known world. Calgary, Nazareth, or Phoenix. Wondering why adults never ate sand or why they cared so much about plans. We didn't wonder about joy, or building monuments so high they'd scrape the belly of the sky. When we were younger, we were pilots without social insurance numbers. We flew X-wings and ladybugs. We had guns that healed our comrades' wounds, swords to fight for love and glory. We drew boats big enough to fit all the animals should those rivers ever rise. When we prayed for a peace we didn't know the opposite of. We prayed for Lego and serenity, to accept the things we could not change when we meant to say the things we could not control, like our tempers, like our parents. And after that, we'd crawl gently to sleep and curl in on ourselves like leaves, believing our bellies were magic caves where food went to change into muscles or shit. I always hoped that I was the type of food that was changed into muscles, and maybe it was just a fear of drowning, but maybe it was a fear of becoming that shivering elm when I could have been the Arbutus tree, clinging myself to the parting cracks and holding there through whatever minerals and nutrients I could siphon from the skin of this cliff. And on that moment, before the seed spills into nothing, that's where I'll live, where life lives, suspended over death like a water beetle. When we were older, we wore our passports like shoes we were afraid to take off. We were nomads, living on a principle of change, fueled by sex and by rage, like barely legal Bedouin penned in only by the sea in our shallow pockets. Penning our way through life-sized itineraries, knowing that borders are just lines painted by men who don't paint. Knowing that the sun could brand you if you weren't careful, we turned a blind eye but had to look somewhere, so we looked to the gutters, the arteries of this city, where the rotting leaves are carried to sea. And to this day, I think that's the second most beautiful smell on earth, next to Sarah's gilded arms after a summer's sweat. The arms that showed me that strength wasn't made of muscle tissue, but of tender, tiny hairlets that glowed in certain dark. The truth and pure expression that perfect art was possible, but that trying to make perfect art was as impossible as trying to build a ladybug out of an old cow patty. Some shit just don't fly. When we were younger, we didn't wonder why the man who built the skyscrapers held the barrel of bourbon to his lips and shot the bullets. Why assassins in oil-slick suits claim our dignity to serve it back to us. They put your soul in a vice grip. Lipstick blonde selling a tight grip, it's bullshit. They'd mine your heart if it was worth it. And I'm not trying to disturb you, not even trying to convert you. I'm just trying to make my point that sometimes anger is a virtue. And if that hurts you, fine, but we don't have time to not accept that we're in this short mess for each other. And that anger has a brother called idealism. And like blood, we share that too.